And I'm not so much going to debate here whether like for or against. My issue here is the inconsistencies with the handballs in Serie A. And we've seen it how many times through so many different games, sometimes like yesterday in our favor, and then sometimes last week, not in our favor. Like, what the hell is going on in Serie A? And they're coaching with these, or the coaching, the reffing, the calls. So, I mean, last week, it goes off the hand, but he's held. Nothing. This week, I mean, it goes off his own foot now and into his hand. Is that not it? Which other ones am I forgetting? There was a couple. Was it Salernitana?
Yeah, with Kandreva slapping it in.
Yeah, Kandreva. Yeah, that dirty ass. Oh man, that one still infuriates me. Or he just like hand shoved it in.
Yeah, and ironically, if that didn't count, we would be tied in second place.
Exactly. So there's consequences. There's very tangible consequences to these calls or non-calls. And if you're gonna make a rule, make it clear enough with enough interpretation so the ref knows how to, and that's the thing. If you make a rule too black and white, it's actually harder to interpret, and that's where you get more errors in the interpretation. But if you word it in such a way that you allow things or disallow things to happen. Okay, so for instance, there's people that believe that pull it up. Let's get some images.
Boom.
Okay, so that went off his foot and into his hand. There's some people that believe that any ball played with the hand in the box is a penalty. And sometimes you see it like that called on the pitch. Now, in this case, if he's falling backwards, it hits his foot and then into his hand. Technically, it's not because it's a deflection and he had no control over that. So technically, it's not a handball. And you can say it was called correctly yesterday. Beppe actually think it was called incorrectly yesterday. And again, that just proves that we have different interpretations, that we have like a very similar way of thinking. We support the team and whatnot. We both try to think objectively, but we still came to different conclusions.
Yeah, so I'll chime in real quick. So I disagree with it being a handball for the one sole reason is, so when this action happens, when the ball goes to him, or it comes across this way. So it's coming from Danilo's right. So it's coming in across. If you guys can't follow my mouse, I can't do it. But so essentially, Danilo was going in to slide to try to knock the ball before it reaches him, because it's actually coming in from a diagonal angle, and then it goes off the Hellas Verona's foot. Like, he didn't have control of the ball. I'm just going to be honest with you guys there. So like, he doesn't have control of the ball, and then it kind of dinks off of his hand, and then and then it would go into Danilo's arm as Danilo was doing a falling action. Danilo wasn't trying to make a save or anything. Danilo was falling because he was trying to actually slide in to intercept the ball initially before it was deflected off the Hellas Verona player. So that to me is non-intentional. And also, when you're falling, you're bracing yourself, and that arm is literally getting into position to brace himself for his fall. So the fact that Hellas Verona posted this on their Twitter account shows to me is it's Bush League on their end. Because, like, for example, the one time where we're playing against Roma and we were crossing the ball in, and the Roma player was sliding and he was falling and it hit his hand, they didn't call it because, again, he was falling and he was bracing himself. So if that's the precedent that's established by the referees, that if you're in a falling action and your arms are in a falling action while you're falling before the ball is being played, it's not a handball. So if that's what the precedent is being established as, then that's not a handball, in my opinion.
So, and here we do have, even in the chat, some people are interpreting it differently. I'm going to go back to which handball did I kind of get into a fight with in the comments? It wasn't really a fight, but we went back and forth. It was the one that went off.
Oh, it was
into the hand.
Quadrado. It was Quadrado.
It was Quadrado. Yeah, which match was that now?
Benfica away.
Yes, Benfica. Okay. So I think because we got a lot of Benfica fans coming in, so this was I'm assuming, I could be wrong, I'm assuming it was Benfica fan that commented. But he was like adamant, and he was one of the ones who's like, no, The hand was in an unnatural position, and any ball played in the box counts, and the hand was in an unnatural position. And I'm trying to argue with him that, okay, what actually happened though is the Benfica player was jumping up. He was crashing in to Quadrado. Now, any animal, especially like mammals, any animal that has a soft belly, that's our weak point. And I feel awkward with this over my face now. So let's get rid of this. So yeah, you go and you protect yourself because you're very vulnerable there. So he protected himself from a player. The ball went off that player and then into his hand. Now another deflection, just like yesterday's deflection, but this time off a different player. Not even himself, off a different player. And then that was called a handball. We saw essentially the same thing, a deflection into the hand. And the hand was in a place of you can't control it. It's just there. You're not trying to play it into anything. It's just there. The same essential thing, and we have two completely different calls, and we have people fighting all over the place. Why can't, at this point in time, in this multi-billion dollar sport, why can't we figure this out? It's embarrassing.
And the thing that irritates me more so, between the top 5 leagues, each league has a different iteration of the handball rule.
Figure it out, UEFA. What's the point of UEFA if you can't figure this out? It's called a federation. Figure it out, damn it. Like, it's stupid. You guys make how much money and you can't figure out how a handball's called? What's wrong with you?
Everything.
Freaking embarrassing. Anyways, there you go.